One of them for mushrooms, the other one for my beef. So here's the beef. Where's the beef? It's right here, everybody. So beef tenderloin. I trimmed them all myself. And I'm gonna put some oil on my beef tenderloin. I'm gonna put some salt on my beef tenderloin. I'm gonna put some pepper on there. And I'm just gonna dive right in here. Okay, get it covered. Now I might put a little bit more oil on there, a little more salt. Now you can't see that, it's out of your camera frame. But oil, salt, and pepper. I like it to be nice and kind of crusted, coated. With that, set that aside, clean your hands. Now, your mushrooms are going in without anything. Just gonna heat the pan and then just put your mushrooms in. Pan is nice and hot. Mushrooms are going in. The reason why we're not adding any fat to it, like we're not adding any cooking fat to your mushrooms, is we're not looking to saute them. We're looking to dehydrate them. And so that's why. And so they just go in, and that's it. Just in a minute, that pan's hot. In a minute, they will start to boil. Water will start coming out, and they'll start to boil. All right, you'll see that here. You almost start to see some bubbles in there right now. Okay, and then the other side is for your beef. Now, I did put a little, fat on the meat itself. I'm also going to put a little fat in the pan right where I'm going to put it, right there, just a little bit. And we want to get a nice caramelized Maillard reaction on the bottom on that beef. So keep your heat high. Keep your heat high, and let's just let this stuff cook for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and clean my cutting board and do a couple things over here. While that's happening, we just want to sear the beef and cook all the moisture out of our mushrooms. Yep. Stir them around a little bit. You see the water pooling up in there a little bit, so you can see it around the edge. Okay, my beef is getting some nice brown color. We're gonna go brown all the way around. Now, when you get some brown on one part, then go ahead and turn it. Get the other side. I'm gonna smoke up the whole place with that little piece of meat in that big pan. Ah, they're doing good. They're doing good. All right, my second. Once they get brown, so you got brown, go ahead and do the sides too. You can put up on its end. Yeah, on its end. Let's get the end brown too. Now, everybody, turn your oven up to 425 degrees. Okay, 425. Turn your oven up, please. And we're just going to stir your mushrooms. All right, look at that nice color. Holy moly. All right, so my mushrooms are almost done being dehydrated. So my beef is done. Set it down. I'm going to just use my table here. My mushrooms, very, very close. I'm going to turn my mushrooms off and just let this pan sit here to the side. There we go. Now you're going to need a little container of water, and you'll need plastic wrap, and you're going to need your dry mustard. So I've got a container of water right here. Okay. I've got my dry mustard. And put it right here into the bowl. All right, so now you should be able to see both cameras. I just switched it up so you should be able to see both cameras. And let's talk up here with me. So now we're gonna get ready to do the mustard part. So you've got your seared beef. Okay, you got your seared beef right there, and I've got my dry mustard and a little bit of water. We're gonna make some mustard here in a second. But let's talk about the mustard for a minute. Kind of a cool lesson I learned about mustard. There's like 3 different kinds of mustard seeds. There's yellow, brown, and black. Okay, and so this is actually a brown mustard seed, and when you grind it, it looks yellow. And I don't know what the yellow one looks like. Did I get them right? Nah, guys, I have to Google my memory a little bit later. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the brown mustard seed. When it crushes it, it turns yellow. But the thing about mustard is it can be really spicy. So you take mustard seed and you grind it up like this in a powder. And when you add water to it and to mix it, when you add water, in about 10 minutes, basically the spice level goes like this. It goes, it starts getting hotter and hotter and hotter when you use water. Hot, 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 hot. And after about 10 minutes, it goes, it peaks and it starts to go dive and it starts to go way back down, okay, into to where eventually it won't be hot at all. So it spikes in about 10 minutes. But when you add an acid to it, it might not get as hot. So if the peak is up here, it'll get maybe halfway up, but it'll stay there for long periods of time. Okay? So let's think about mustard when you buy it prepared in the store. Dijon mustard is made with white wine. Some mustards are made with vinegar. And so they're adding some sort of acid to the mustard seed to keep its level of intensity for long periods of time through storage and everything. Anyway, something kind of I thought was pretty neat. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take just a little bit of water and just drizzle some in, and you're just trying to make like a runny paste. That's all. All right. One more drip. That's all I need. And take your mustard. Let's do this first. Okay. So let's do this. What you want to do is take a little bit of water. Not a lot. A little bit of water. A little chef's secret. You take a little bit of water and just rub your counter with a little bit of water. And then we're going to get some plastic wrap. When you put a little bit of water down, it allows you to put your plastic wrap on the table, and it kind of sticks it to the surface. That's the chef trick right there. Now, go get your prosciutto from the freezer. Might as well get your puff pastry too. Okay, puff pastry and your prosciutto. So here's my prosciutto, puff pastry. Puff pastry is set there. It's gonna let it thaw out. Now my prosciutto, when you since we froze it, it'll help you get it apart. And again, for all of you who purchase ingredients from us, I went through, I mean, it was rough, okay? We have to find a different provider of the prosciutto, because when you get it from Sam's Club, it's like sliced up, but then they kind of like mess it up too. Like it's so stuck together, and I mean, I was peeling it and peeling it and peeling. I mean, I spent an hour trying to get the prosciutto apart for this class. So do your best. I'm gonna do my best to get it. You can just need to piece it together. You think your beef is this big, so it doesn't have to be much bigger than that. We'll zoom in. Okay, so right on top. Anyway, so I'm just gonna piece my beef together, or piece my prosciutto together. Prosciutto, what makes prosciutto so special? I mean, it's pork, right? It's the hind. They usually make it from the hind leg and butt area of the little piggy. And but what makes it so special is they cure it with sea salt. And so it's really expensive per pound, prosciutto is, because when they cure it with sea salt, they take it over. Here's that mustard consistency. Okay, Kathleen, it's just kind of like peanut butter, a little bit runnier than peanut butter, maybe. It could be, as long as it's not runny. It just needs to be able to be a little pasty. But prosciutto, they cure it with sea salt, and so it takes a long time, because it's like a less strong. It's not really less strong salt. It's all salt has the same chemicals in it, but it takes more time when they use sea salt to do it. And because of that, it loses more moisture through the curing process. So it makes a really strong flavor when it's cured, and it means it loses a lot more weight when it's cured. And so that means the price goes up. When you start with something that's 20 pounds, and when you're ready to sell it, it's only 6 pounds, you got to sell it for a higher price. Because if it was, if you started at 10 pounds and it was 9.5 pounds, you have more to sell. So it's just a kind of a commodity type thing. So here, when you have your prosciutto, okay, you can press it down flat. You want to? Then you're gonna take your mushrooms and put them on top of your prosciutto. You may or may not use all the mushrooms, okay? But you definitely want them to be pretty dry. Also, a bunch of water will just squeeze out. And hopefully everyone caught me earlier when I said turn your oven up to 425 degrees. 425 degrees. So that's a lot of mushrooms. Some of that's going to come out. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Not all of it is going in. That's a lot of mushrooms. So now here you have your beef. I'm going to take your mustard and cover it. Just take all this stuff. Just take your beef and cover it with the mustard. Now, if you want to try it, try a little bit. It's hot. Ooh, hot. But mustard makes meat amazing. It's a secret weapon on chicken, on beef. I mean, you can do just this and just roast this, like sear it just like we did, and then put some mustard on it and roast it in the oven, and people can be like, holy amazing, what did you do to this meat? It's the best thing ever. And you can be like, I know, you just cooked it. Just keep your secrets to yourself. Okay, they're your secrets. So get all this mustard out, coat it in mustard, and put it right there. Now, if you're not to the point that I'm at right now, you need to tell me, because I only really have one opportunity to show you the next part. So you need to let me know if you're behind, you can't watch or something like that. because I have enough time that I'm sure I can find a story to tell you while you're getting caught up. You know, like there's this one time at band camp.
That was good.
You like that one? Appreciate that. I mean, that was a good transition. What Zoom needs, we need like you should be able to like laugh and like, you know, applaud or something, you know. We need some more interactive buttons for everybody. Yeah, there you go. See, I love it. I don't even know who that was. I can't even tell who that was. Happened so quickly. So, yeah, it's great. All right. So nobody has said that they're so behind they have no idea what's going on right now. So let's do this. Okay? I gave you your opportunity. Now you take your plastic wrap, right, and you're going to pick it up, and you're going to roll on top of this beef, just like that. Just roll it. Now don't roll your plastic wrap in it. See, your plastic wrap has to come out as you roll that up. So flip it over, and then roll it up. There's a lot of mushrooms in that one, y'all. I like to grab the ends and just roll on the table. Roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it. Okay? See that? See, I got mushrooms coming out the ends, bro. And it's just a lot of mushrooms. Okay? So now, if you do this again, if you are a rare type of person, like I'm a pretty rare type of person, there's only one of me, and there's no one else even crazy like me anywhere else in this planet. Oh, that's not what I'm talking. That's just side note. Side note. Okay, if you like your meat rare, then you want to put this in the fridge so it gets nice and cold. Because here's the thing. Here's our control. Our control is the puff pastry. It takes the same amount of time to cook no matter what. And so if you like it more rare, then you need your meat to be cold so that it takes longer for it to warm up. So, and if you really like it rare, you could put this in the freezer for a few minutes too to kind of get a chill on it before you cook your puff pastry. Because again, the puff pastry takes the same amount of time to cook no matter what. Now, if you like it more done, then let it sit out at room temperature, right? Or if you like it really, like it's hard to get this well done and not overcook your puff pastry. That's hard to do. So if you want to try to get yours more well done, you'd need to sear it longer so that you get it more cooked during the searing process so that it'd be more well done later. And the reason I told you that now is one, I could say I forgot earlier, which may have been the case, but you'll never know the truth. But really, it's because you don't want to eat well done meat. I mean, ew. So I did you a favor, even though you didn't know it. Okay? I did you a favor. Okay. Hopefully, you're ready for the next part, because I'm moving on. We got to get this thing in the oven. You're going to open up your puff pastry. See, I mean, mine came out of the freezer. It's already thawed and ready to go. So you have that, and you should have egg yolk. Now, if you have a brush, I need to go get a brush. If you have a brush, that would be best. If you don't have a brush, just use your fingers, right? You know what? I'll do it with my fingers because some of you might not have a brush. How about that? Okay. So don't use all of your egg yolk on this side. This is the inside. Okay. Okay. So you need egg yolk for a couple of reasons. One, to help hold everything together. Okay, that's one. Because if you didn't have any egg yolk in here or anything that would like help stick your whole beef Wellington together, then what would happen is when you cut it and you try to move a piece, your piece of meat would just slide out. You got to think a beef Wellington, if you're not familiar, beef Wellington usually made with like the whole like Chateaubriand, the whole like middle or more of the beef tenderloin. So it's usually a pretty big thing, and you cut slices of it and present it. Okay, but when you and we're making a mini version. And for those of you who are cooking for 4 people, if you bought ingredients from us, you'll have 2 of these. You're making 2. You probably already figured that out by now. But and so you need a little something on the inside to kind of congeal and connect it all together, so it just doesn't like slip right out. Right. So you need egg yolk on the inside for that. So there we go. So it's nice and coated on the inside. Then you can open up your little round of beef Wellington, a little round of meat. Put that right in there. Are we good so far, everybody? Again, this is I only have one opportunity to do this. Okay, I only have one. So I'm pick my puff pastry up. I'm gonna fold it over there. Then I'm gonna pick this side up and I'm gonna fold it on top. Now see the seam? Take the seam and make sure you roll it to the bottom so it looks pretty on top. Seam side down for everybody. Then from here, I like to pick up the side and you tuck it in. Tuck the bottom in and fold it down. I have to do a double tuck there. It seems like it's stretching. There we go. Just make it look pretty, just like wrapping a present. Okay. Like basically, that's what you're doing. You're wrapping a present. Sound good? Now, I'd like you to go get. You need a pan to put it on, to put it in the oven. So I have a small sheet pan. You want like a small baking tray or some sort of small pan, okay, and put it right there. All right. Make sure you all get there. We good? I have a little bourbon. Okay. So now the next part, you should have more egg yolk left. Put some egg yolk on here. Make sure you cover the whole thing. Like to make sure you get down the sides and everything too. Good. And from here, you might want to grab a paring knife. I'm going to go get one real quick. Jessica, you may have heard both 425, 425, 425 degrees. Okay. All right. So paring knife. So what you can do here is you can decorate however you want to. You can write names in it. You can do shapes, whatever you like. A lot of times I think about my wife, and so I'll take a tip of a paring knife and you're basically kind of wiping off the egg in certain spots. And I could put a little J, okay, J and H, Jeff and Heather. Aw, let me get it. Aw. Okay, Deborah, I'm slow. I'm slowed down, Deborah. What can I do for you? What are you missing? You and your newbies over there. I appreciate you bringing some newbies to the, some novices to it. Yeah, just getting sweet, right? You can see my little J and H in there. Okay, okay, look. Aw. Deb, if there's anything I can help you with right now, let me know. Because I'm kind of done and ready to go into the oven, but I'll be happy to kind of keep it here if there's something that I can help you with. And you're welcome to turn your video on, and I can help you with that in that way too. Okay. Well, tell. Okay, the newbie's been typing. That's fantastic. That's good. Okay. Well, let me know. Okay, so mine is going to go in the oven. It's done. Like it's ready. It's ready for the oven. Now make sure you're on 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Story to come. Okay, story to come. Mine's going in the oven. Okay, that's looking better. That's looking better. Um, so when it's golden brown all the way around, like this guy is here, then it's done. So just pull it out. We're gonna let it rest a minute. While your beef Wellington is cooling down a minute, while it's resting, go ahead and take your peas, carrots, and your potatoes. Peas, carrots, and potatoes. Put them in the oven just to warm up, okay? My drawing didn't stay on there too well today. It usually stays on there pretty well. Usually pretty identifiable when it's done. I think I had just too much egg yolk. It was just too thick. But anyways, so your Wellington meat needs to rest. It needs to rest about 4 minutes per pound, right? And so that means we need to let this rest, about 3 minutes or so for it to cut nicely. And because when you heat something up, right, when water heats, it expands, right? It turns to steam, and it's pushing its way out. So when you heat meat and things, you have the juices are wanting to do this, push out of the meat, and so basically it's all towards the outside edges. And if you cut it right then, all that moisture goes and this gushes all over your table. And so if you let it rest long enough, then those juices cool down and they go back to where they came from. And so it leaves the juice in the meat instead of all over your table. Very important thing when you're cutting meats. It's very hard to be patient though. You just kind of like to say, oh, my food's cooling down. Yes, but it'll be better that way in the end. Because anyways, if your food's too hot, then it just causes a problem. I don't know if I told you this to some of you the story before, but when I was in culinary school, my third class I think was French classical with Chef Noble, and every other word was the F word. I mean, it was F and this and F and I mean, every I think he did it on purpose just because like that was the stereotype of a French chef. He's just so hard and so rough and tough, and whatever. And so, anyways, we would sit in the classroom just like in the kitchen. So the kitchen had big tables, stainless steel tables that we'd cut and chop on. But the first 2 hours of class was lecture, and we'd sit at those tables and just take notes and whatnot. And so when he started asking the question about like what temperature do you eat food at, and you're like, oh, that's a good question. Never really thought about that. What temperature do you eat food at? And so when he started asking that question, he pulled out this meat mallet. It wasn't like a meat mallet. It's built like that. It was like a sledgehammer. I'm sitting at the front of the table. I was always at the front in culinary school. Now I was at the back. I was a mess up, screw up kid in high school, but once I found something I really enjoyed, I was there early, stayed late, and was at the front of the class all the time. So think about that for you guys out there. But all of a sudden, he had this thing like stashed down underneath the table. And then when he's like, what temperature do you eat food at? And people were like, 130 degrees. He was like, no, bam, and just slammed that table right in front of me. There has a dent in the table. I didn't realize that that's because this happens every class. And you're like, I was like, it scared me to death. I almost peed my pants. And and then he just kept, every time someone would say the wrong temperature, he just slam that thing down and slam it down, you know. And but basically, you eat food at about 102 to 104 degrees. Think about that. You know you cook it to all these high temperatures, but your mouth can only, it's hot at 104, 105, 106 degrees. That's all you need. Hopefully, my story got me 3 or 4 minutes of time, but on that. So let's go ahead. My Wellington, I'm going to cut the end off. Yeah. Cut the other end off. Now, let's say a prayer together. Jesus, I pray this is a perfect medium, maybe even a little mid-rare. Amen. Okay. Then you're going to cut it in half. There we go. Ooh, look at that prettiness right there. Okay. So there's my beef. And then we're going to take, you know what? It's leaning. I'm going to just fix that real quick. Leaning tower of beef. There we go. All right. So there's my beef, and you see the egg in here helped hold it together. Like I can pick this up and it's not slipping. It's not slipping out. And so the egg helps hold together. Then I'm going to take my potatoes. And I kept the starch really simple for tonight. Carrots, get some of those nice bâtonnets that I made. And there's some bigger ones in there. Oh, not yet. Carrots, just a second. Stay right there. Mushy peas. Remember, bowl's hot. Bowl's hot. Mushy peas. Carrots. Now, I did save a little bit of parsley earlier, just as a little garnish. And we already ate it. We already ate the tea sandwich, but now we have our beef Wellington and trifle, and dinner is served. Cheering for all of you. Okay.